What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and in this one we're going over what I'm watching in the market this week and a bit of a watch list. So we're going to have a trading watch list, a stock that I'm looking to buy for the long term and possibly a long swing, as well as a lottery play because we do have earnings coming up this week. So it's going to be a pretty big week. We have some huge companies reporting earnings. We have Tesla, Netflix, Snapchat, American Express, just a ton of them on here. So it should be a pretty fun week. Earnings seasons is always fun, and but playing earnings can be a bit of a gamble. So we'll just see how they go this season, but I'm definitely excited for a lot of the tech companies to report. So I'm looking to play some of the earnings run-ups. I might play a couple lottery plays and hold through earnings. We'll see how that goes. And if you want to stick around for the end of the video, I will show the lottery play that I'm going to take this week. And if you guys enjoy these videos, please like and subscribe, and let's get into it. All right, so first up is Chewy. This is one that I have been scaling into shares and January calls. Definitely going to go long on this one. I think it's at a really good buying point for upside. Now, it did sell off their last earnings, so there are some gaps to fill above. On the month, still down 13%. Last 3 months, down 18%. I really like this company, though, and if we do check out the January calls, I think that gives plenty of time to be correct on this reversing. Pretty cheap calls. Plenty of time, so that's what I'm looking to get into. If you guys want a full video about Chewy, I can do that, providing more info, but let's look at the chart and I'll give you a little bit more information about Chewy. So Chewy can be described as a pet-focused e-commerce play. This company provides pet food, treats, pet supplies, pet medications, and other pet health products, as well as services for animals ranging from dogs to horses to reptiles through Chewy.com. Its online retail website and its mobile shopping applications provide approximately 70,000 different products from around 2,500 partnered brands. And like I said, if you guys want a video just dedicated to Chewy with much more information, drop a comment below and I will look to do that in the near future. All right, so here is the chart for Chewy, and one of the reasons I like it so much is because it has double bottomed. So back in November of 2020, you can see the bottom there. And here on October 13th area, that's where it double bottomed, and it actually broke out of the downtrend on the daily chart. We have the gap to fill above starting around $80 and going all the way to $86. So this note was just for myself. I wanted to see it come down to 60, load it up a bit more, and then playing the reversal. As you can see here on the RSI, super oversold. So a lot of upside in my opinion, and that's why I'm adding Chewy. And you can see the call flow is very bullish for this to reverse. Next up we have Tesla, and this thing has taken off. So about a month ago I posted in the Patreon saying I was watching Tesla, it likes to run, and just keeping an eye on it and being patient. And this thing is up $100 in the last month since I posted that. Tesla has gone on an insane run and they have earnings this week. Now, earnings can be a huge gamble, especially with a company like Tesla, so I'm not sure I'm even going to attempt to play it. If I do, I would probably take calls, but obviously could be priced in. I would probably take a spread to be safe, or a true lottery play would be something like the 900 call, but still, that's pretty pricey to risk. Tesla, though, is looking pretty good. If we look here on the daily, it broke out of the daily uptrend, so it is heading up there. It looks like it has clear skies, but we'll see how it goes. It is technically overbought here, but Tesla's something that I am watching this week, obviously with earnings. Next up is ANY. This is one that I've been covering a lot recently. Now, it did fill the entire gap above and then sold off like we anticipated, but it's holding this support very well around 775. That's where I would prefer to add. It is holding above 8 at the moment, but overall this thing has just been a beast and holding up very well. I think in Q4 we're going to see a lot more action with this when catalysts roll in, but pretty good volume overall, and chart is looking bullish, so I'm hoping this breaks out this week and I can add some more, maybe if I get a little bit of a dip, and then hopefully we pop. Then we have BBIG. They do have their merger this week as of right now, unless that gets delayed. So I would anticipate a bit more of a run-up before the merger, but likely a sell the news event, so just be very careful with that. So it did break out. It broke through this resistance that I had at 777, and we did talk about that in a recent video, but it did get there. It broke out over and then kind of touched this other resistance I had and sold off a little bit. So we could see a retest of around that 777 area, and hopefully bounce, but I'm not in any BBIG, but definitely keeping it on watch. It is a little bit overbought, but if volume comes in, hype and FOMO takes us higher, you never know what can happen. So definitely watching this one, and we'll see if it can break through these resistances and back to the highs. Next up is Netflix. Watching this one, especially for earnings, and that we saw some news about Netflix Squid Game will generate $900 million for the company, despite costing only $21 million to make, reports say. So it'll likely pop on Monday morning just based off that news, and then leading into earnings. They typically sell off after earnings, but we'll see how this year goes. Pretty much in a neutral zone right now, but still holding that uptrend. Just definitely watching Netflix. Another stock I am looking to add more to is Square. I'm looking at long calls ahead of earnings because, this thing was oversold. It looked to bottom out around 223. Nice reversal. There is a small gap below. Hopefully we fill that where I can add around that 243, 244 range. I think that'd be a solid place to add. Overall, pretty neutral at the moment. After hours on Friday, Jack Dorsey was tweeting about how Square is considering building a Bitcoin mining system based on custom silicon and open source for individuals and businesses worldwide. Saw the stock pop a little bit. Now we'll see how this goes, but I am looking to play this run up ahead of earnings. And obviously with Bitcoin running, that's more bullish for Square, and looking to play this thing back to, 270 and all-time highs. Very bullish on this company. It is one of my long-term stocks, but as far as calls, looking potentially at some January or further calls. Here's a quick update on Sofi for the people that follow me just based off Sofi. The current daily chart is overbought at the moment. We could see a little bit of a pullback here as we are at the top of this channel and, currently rejecting off that. Like I said, that's a pretty big zone to break into the 20s, so could see a little bit of a pullback, but overall holding this uptrend very nicely. Likely see, maybe we drop down to 19 or 1850 ahead of earnings and maybe some more news to finally get us to break out over that and into these next levels that I'm looking for. All right, and last up for the lotto play is CLF. They report earnings this week. Lottery means you can lose the entire investment, so don't put in anything more than you can afford to lose. Now, to play this is pretty cheap to start with, so it's not that big of a deal. But Wall Street does expect earnings growth for CLF. They expect a year-over-year increase in earnings on higher revenues. Now, just keep in mind, if they don't meet these expectations, stock price will likely go lower. And if they do, it will likely pop a bit. Now, the chart, in my opinion, looks good. They're breaking out of this weekly downtrend, closed above it. And if you look at the daily as well, broke out and kind of hovering right above it, maybe retest. But I think the earnings play will be great. It's pretty cheap to play. I will likely take a debit spread to be safe. And debit spreads help negate that theta and that implied volatility. So I'd buy something like the 22, sell the 24. So your max profit would be 160, max loss $40, not that big of a deal. Or you could straight up play naked calls, which is a lot more degenerate, and you could lose it all. Or if it pops, you make a good amount, but get the 23 call for $25. Worst case, you lose 25. It's not that big of a deal, but I like the odds here. I think it's solid. A lot of people are expecting this one to do well with recent acquisitions. So that is the lotto play for this week.